So you guys can have this training afterward. Just let us know and we'll get it to you. And just use the chat feature to ask questions along the way as I go through some of this stuff. And, you know, feel free, like I love people who just interrupt me. So feel free to just unmute yourself like, hey, stop right there. I need some more clarity on this.
He's lying. He is lying. He'll never let anybody interrupt him.
Because if you don't, I'll keep talking.
That's
true story.
I have a lot to say. There's a lot of value here. And here's the thing, like the StreetText system is awesome. It's only as good though as your ability to work it and get in there and customize your automations. So a lot of people don't know the power of your autoresponders, both on the text side. If you have that activated, we're going to show you a few things there. And on the email side. Email side for me is probably the most important place you can start customizing, because you can go in there and throw in emojis in the subject line. You can go in there and pull in email signatures, throw in video, embed video introductions, utilize Calendly. It's just, yeah, the in trial version of what you have right now is not going to get you responses. I'll just tell you that. Okay. When you learn what we're about to show you, you're going to be like, whoa, oh, this makes complete sense. Really also today, what we're going to do is show you hopefully how to tap into the Facebook algorithm. And what you're looking for is, we have an odometer reading that'll show you how your ad is performing. You want to sit in the green, anywhere in the green. If it's pointing towards yellow, orange, or red, which we're going to show you here shortly, pause that ad and we'll show you how to build good ones, right? Don't be wasting Facebook dollars that you don't have to today. Everything starts at that $9 a day ad spend. When you start a trial, and that's only because we benchmarked that over 60,000 ads and generated about 2 million leads starting at the $9. So once you get the ad performance working, you can scale that up, you can scale that down. I would advise you against scaling, even if you have good lead volume, up until you define what your process looks like. And it's not just simply doing CMAs all day. I'll promise you that. If you're spending 30 minutes doing a CMA, sorry, you wasted all that time, but there's better ways. Okay. All right, Logan, turn off your mic. Your typing is really bothering me. All right, everybody, mute for a second, and yeah, we're gonna duke it out a little bit later. Let's get into this. I'm gonna share a few things I think will be important to you. Okay, so this is just kind of give us some street cred out there. Meaning we're StreetText, but we're at, we got started with textable sign writers way back in the day, which is why we got the name StreetText. But since 2014, we have launched more than 60 now, probably 65, 70,000 ads. In January, probably close to a couple million leads. This is pretty old at this point. So we know what we're doing. We work with Facebook really closely. We just now are utilizing Instagram as well. So Facebook and Instagram to generate leads. And the key is we always work with them as their changes are inevitably happening all the time on the Facebook scope. We got your back. You don't have to figure out, because there's going to be a few changes that we'll be addressing in the future with Facebook that we've already gotten solutions for. Another thing I would want to help you see is this presentation right here. This is a big point of people trying to go out there and do Facebook themselves. Right? You go out there and you're like, hey, I'm going to go run my own ads. And, sometimes you get a good one. Sometimes you don't. Unfortunately, the real estate average out there is sitting as low as 2.9% for people that are trying to do Facebook marketing themselves. And that's pretty bad on a click to contact ratio. If you're sitting at anything around 9%, you're in the 90th percentile out there. Look at StreetText.
Yeah, the reason that number is so important, everybody, is that, every time somebody clicks on your sponsored ad on Facebook, you're paying Facebook for that click. This percentage relates to the amount of people who've already clicked on that ad and then have chosen to continue forward on the landing page and leave some information, right? So if you're paying for clicks when they get to the landing page and they're confused or lost or unsure, they're not leaving any information at all, and that's what attributes that really low percentage, right? So what we've shown is we have the ability to not only get those clicks, but get them to leave information after the click.
100%. Now, stop share. Anybody want to answer the question, how many people are on Facebook today? Anybody? Go ahead. You got to unmute yourself, though. Did you unmute yourself, Luis? I think you had a question you were going to answer.
No, I'm good. I'm sorry.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
He said he's on Facebook. He was agreeing with
Okay,
me.
you're on Facebook.
Yeah,
I'm
everybody's
on Facebook. Yeah. Okay. So 2.3 billion. The world today, whoever has a phone, whoever has a computer is on Facebook. And that means Generation Y, that means baby boomers, that means your millennials, that means everybody. My mom and dad, they're all there. Okay. Now, what's the average time spent on Facebook right now? What's the stats say? Does anybody know? Yeah, you do? Jennifer?
45 minutes a day.
Good job. Yeah, anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour a day just scrolling down someone's newsfeed. So what does that mean? Do you know your drip email campaigns that you spent so much money on? They're good, but they're just there. Facebook is a way better place to use as a CRM. And so we want to teach you a concept today that shows you actually how to look at every single lead as an opportunity to connect with back on Facebook, including your address only. Because there's something, anybody familiar with friends lists? No, wow. Okay, friends list is one of the most important features of Facebook that you'll see today, and it allows you to actually organize your entire database of Facebook into specific lists. And not only that, you start now posting directly to those lists. You don't have to worry about anybody else seeing it. So if all of a sudden you start moving all your Facebook seller leads into one list, you build that list. And guess what? You don't have to be friends with them. As long as you send them a friend request and drop them into that list and label it, you can now post directly to that list, and you can use it as a management system. So all of a sudden, everything you post is directly related to that list itself. And it allows you to track the last time you talked to them, and then you can start putting other lists. So as you can see with your seller leads, for example, they're going to be just curious people. They're going to be people that are 1 to 3 months, 3 to 6 months out, 6+ months out. You're going to have lists that you've created for I've already sent a home value to, or I've had a conversation with. Just think outside the box, because once you figure that out, game changer on Facebook. Okay, I'm going to mute you guys again. Whoever's coming here, just stay muted and we'll get back into this presentation. Who here wants us to use their trial account today for kind of you being you'll be the guinea pig for us as we use your account and show it to everybody? Raise your hand. Whoever wants us to use your account. Are you in trial? No, everybody's shy. Nope. Raise hand for who wants us to use your account. Luis, is that you? Do you want us to use your account? Was that a raise hand?
I'm not in trial yet. I haven't opened the account yet.
Okay, Jennifer, are you in trial? You are. Okay, we'll use your account, Jennifer. Because we're going to do some big takeaways real quick on how you're supposed to use this. But let me share just one more slide with you guys, and then we'll get into your account, Jennifer. Give me 1 second. So you guys are familiar with this right here. This is top of funnel. So Facebook and Instagram, you are going to obviously notice that Realtor and Zillow are at the bottom. You pay a lot of money for those leads. They're usually generally ready to go. It's like doggy in that world, right? Like if you don't get to them right away, it goes to somebody else. And it's just a whole nother type of lead generation. When you consider Facebook and Instagram, it's all about the ability to create relationship with these people. You're not competing against anybody for the people that submit their information. And usually majority of them are so early into the process. Because you're tapping into the subconscious, the passive style of marketing. When you create a call to action on Facebook, it's really getting them to think about, if someone were to fill, if someone were to buy your home, would you sell it, find its value in the current market? The idea is you're tapping into like, oh, hey, babe, we might be selling our home, but I'm not necessarily ready to sell it today. And I'd also have to figure out where I want to go. So there's a double-ended deal on that. On the buyer side, same thing. We call our funnels buyer to seller funnel, because buyers, most of the time on the Facebook, Instagram side, they still have to sell their home. So that's why we ask for that information early on. So just understand that the beauty of Instagram and Facebook is that you're going to be creating a massive database of like, if you're truly into the influencer model and you want to build your business in the long term, Facebook is that. But for your short term fix, you should be going on appointments, but I don't expect everybody to, in this week of trial, the basis for me is, can you get someone to actually talk and dialogue to you? That for me would be a measure of a successful trial with you. And if you learn something today, we'll teach you how to actually get them to book into a complimentary walkthrough, or on the buyer side, a consultation with you. Because once you do that, then you can really discover and uncover what they're looking to accomplish and what time frame they're looking to accomplish it in. Okay, so let's get into the slides here. What I really want to do for you guys is make sure that you pull in a slogan. So when you get into your dashboard, and I'll get into yours shortly here, Jennifer, the best thing you could possibly do from the beginning is, number one, update a slogan. The slogan itself is so important because it's going to be shown to your leads, and obviously your website information. And write this down, obviously, if you're in the car and you can't get in on your computer, because you want to do this eventually. Slogans will be seen along with your picture. Your picture is being pulled from your Facebook business page, but the slogan will be also shown along with a Facebook review if you have one. So if you can pull in a Facebook review, you just go to the Facebook pages and you pick one. We can't pull in Zillow or Trulia, but we can pull in a Facebook review. And you don't worry, there won't be stars or anything associated with it. It just will be that person's picture, actually, who gave you the review, and the written testimonial. But that enhances your phone number submissions, right? So the average cost per lead right now on that 68% click to contact ratio, North America wide, is about $2.30 an address. So make sure that you're kind of benchmarking around that. It's about $6, give or take, an email, and about $18 a phone number. Right? So how do we enhance more phone number submissions? Obviously, we're going to be testing out the right ads, but making sure that when they get to that place of submitting their phone number, you have something in there. Okay? Also, set up your SMS, because your SMS is your free speed to lead assistant model. She is an AI, but they automatically think they're talking to Julie. Julie is awesome. We're going to show you how to use her today. But all you got to do to activate her is go underneath the video of Logan and I there on how does it work, and activate it. There's a little button right there. Once you click on it, it'll take you into picking a number, and you'll create it. And essentially, you'll search for digits similar to yours, or something that would resonate with that local farming market. So you can search by the first 3 digits. You can search by the area that you are targeting, or you can even pick a map and find a local number. But just know, so important that you actually activate that now. Don't wait. We'll teach you how to use Julie to actually book an appointment and pass the information on. Okay, now I'll just kind of give you a quick view of what Julie could do for you. Let's say the lead comes in, because Julie will automatically do this for everybody, right? And if I'll say Logan's the lead, it'll say, hey, Logan, this is Julie. I work with Marcus. I'll be the realtor. I see you're interested in your home value. Is there anything specific about your home that may affect its value? Now, if Logan comes in, and he gets that text from Julie on his phone, because he's just submitted his phone number, and he says, hey, Julie, it's been painted on the outside, but nothing else major. What I should be doing as a realtor is I should be like, hey, Logan, and I'd be doing this responding from within the dashboard, by the way, because underneath this area is where you go and type it in on the computer. You're not responding from your phone. You're responding from your desktop, from your laptop, inside the chat feature of your StreetText dashboard. And you're going to be typing this. You'd be like, hey, Logan, thanks for your response. Are you interested in a quick assessment based on the best value? Or would you like to schedule a 20-minute walkthrough with Marcus this week? Right? So I'm not coming in here and taking the conversation over, as even though I'm the realtor Marcus, I'm letting them think they're still talking to Julie, my assistant. So a big portion of that is role play. Role play as your assistant. And that's just one of many, many scripts we can show you. I mean, really, it's asking questions. If they tell you, hey, I updated my kitchen, then obviously we want to know what updates they did with the kitchen, right? And we would continue asking information. I think the key is ask questions that will get answers. Don't go necessarily for the walkthrough right off the bat. That's just one of many ways. This is a pretty aggressive approach. I think you got to figure out less is more in the beginning, because if you can get any dialogue started, that's perfect. perfect as an exchange, because the exchange could lead into more, right? And you can use Julie to set yourself up for the win too. You can be like, hey, if you're using Bomb Video, for example, or introducing yourself, hey, did you get the initial email that Marcus sent you? He wanted to make sure you got a chance to meet him on Facebook, right? There's a lot of ways to do this. Think outside the box.
And my two favorite approaches are one super simple one that's basically referencing yourself and turning it over. And I would say, the opposite direction. I'd say to Marcus, hey, Marcus, thanks so much for your reply. I'm going to be passing your information over to Logan right away. I expect him to follow up with you within the hour. Here's the number he's going to call you from. Set those expectations, set a time frame, give the number so that when that number comes up on the call display, it's not who's calling me. It's, oh yeah, Julie told me Logan was going to call me from this number, so they're expecting it. The other one I like, which is a little bit more aggressive, and you can try split testing these approaches, is book yourself the appointment right away. And I like what Marcus is saying in that get a conversation going, build rapport, but out the other side of it, you can try the aggressive approach. I think it works, and say something like, hey, Marcus, thanks so much for your reply. Logan's actually showing homes in your neighborhood tomorrow. Why don't I get him to pop by and introduce himself when he wraps up for the day? Right? Something like that, where it's lowering that imposition level, where you're not saying, hey, Logan, the realtor, is going to come across town just to look at your home, meaning that there's going to be pressure and imposition, so to speak. It's he's already in the neighborhood anyways. He's got active buyers. Basically, you don't say that old cheesy line of, hey, I have buyers in your area, but you're connecting that emotion, right? Logan's showing homes just like yours to other buyers. Why don't I get him to pop by and say hello when he wraps up for the day? Gives a good opportunity for them to say, yeah, sure, why not?
Awesome. And so here we are, Jen, in your account. And so I want you guys to imagine as if we were in your account, and it's the same exact thing we're all going to be going over. So my check boxes for you, Jen, for everybody else here is, again, like we just talked about, settings, profile. I want to know, hey, Jen, you got to get your slogan in, right?
Yep, I literally just signed on yesterday, so.
Okay, no problem.
No pressure.
No pressure. I'm going to put in something in there, and then you're going to change it,
Okay.
just so I can show you what the experience is going to be for the lead. And then if I go into your light bulb and click on Facebook pages and then go to reviews, what I'll do is here is, look, you got some awesome reviews, right? And so at this point, probably something short and powerful like this is the way to go.
Okay.
Jen is amazing. She supported us through the whole process of selling her home. She's professional, detail-oriented, and will work hard for your best interest, right? Look forward to when we buy so that we can work with her again. Awesome.
Yeah, on a review, less is more, guys. The longer the review, even if it's wonderfully glowing, it's not going to get read past the first couple words. So a short review is more likely to get eyes on it.
Right. And so I can't see this ad right now because it's just starting or it's been paused, but I will find one so we can all see. But what I really want to take note of, let's see if I can refresh this one more time. Sometimes it's a country restriction because we're in Canada. So when I go view recommendations, the ad is new. It hasn't started yet. I want to go to the view link because I want you guys to understand what happens when I submit information. So we'll give you a visual of what the ad actually looks like on Facebook. But this is the important piece here is why I want you to put in your slogan in Facebook review is because if I'm on my smartphone and I'm using my little thumbs and I click on the ad and all of a sudden the first thing I see is analyze my property, I'm going to be putting in an address in. So the address is the very minimal information you could get, right? So if I come in here and I submit my address and click analyze my property, no matter what happens, if you go into your account and then go to the contacts section and click on addresses, the address populates, right? And it's gray. It stays gray if it doesn't become a contact. The contact has to have minimal of email in there. And that's why when you look into here, you went in there and tested it yourself. That's what you see. Okay, now going back into here, if I submit the email, I don't move forward if I don't click on that email permission box. Okay, now here's the big news. Once you click next and the email is submitted, the automation begins. Okay, and the big part of that I want to tell everybody is they go into their email inbox, right? And if I put my email in here, Jen, I can see it. I have, received your Facebook home valuation request for 133 Glenridge Avenue, Los Gatos, California, and I'm on it, right? And so that's a very generic email. And I wouldn't necessarily feel like this is the one that I'd want. You know, yeah, we're asking if there's any updates or recent renovations that I should be aware of, but it's not going to be the one that's going to give you the responses you're looking for. So don't assume that this first email one is going to get responded to until you come in there with the understanding that we need to work with you in customizing it, pulling an email signature, a video, maybe an emoji in the subject line, linking to your calendar and so forth. We'll talk about how to make that look awesome. Heading back into here, this is where they start giving you information. So just know if they fall out of this process, you are still going to get that email shooting out, which I think is so powerful if you have the right content going out. But here's where we start getting all the information about the home. Property condition, there's a drop-down menu. This is where they can tell you, you know, new kitchen, right? And then sell date. I think the key is, one of the things we've learned about the submissions throughout the last 4 years and some of our best agencies, you never pre-qualify anybody. Never pre-qualify somebody. Like if you think just because they said just curious to immediately that doesn't matter. I find until you actually have a conversation with buddy, those just curiouses are sometimes immediately. They won't reveal to you that information right up front. And so don't assume that this lead is telling you the true story. When they click next, this is why I want you guys all to have your slogan here, right? A home changes everything. You can change this to what you want. There's your Facebook review. And this is where all of a sudden, as soon as I put that number in, Julie sends the text message to me 3 minutes later. Okay. And in this dashboard, I don't know why this calendar comes up. Okay. So in this dashboard, I can see too, you don't have your text response, right? So we need to quickly go in here and activate it. And so this is how I was showing you, pick a number, create a number, and then I would probably just look at your number right now. It's 925. So I'm gonna go to 925. Would 925 be the one you're looking for?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so I'll just add in the number and bam.
And I can change that later on if necessary.
Yeah, we could delete it and change it, but it's just something that, you know, I like, you want to make sure you're resonating to your local audience, right? So as long as they feel like, hey, 925, like it's someone
yeah, local.
Yeah. Doesn't matter like what the remaining digits, as long as the one that locally they'll see. And this is where you'll start responding to those leads. So there's an all section here. So you see how you got that new button on the top of your dashboard. So this new button here will be where the phone numbers are coming in, and there's all, and then right next to it, there's another chat feature. And this little chat feature will light up yellow if there's a lead in here that is responded to you. You'll also get a notification to your phone, but you'll reply from within here. And that's where you kind of do this whole thing that we were just showing you, right? Like you can see the conversations, you'll be responding on the bottom. So it looks like just underneath here, you'll see this is where you're responding and typing in the conversations.
And just so you guys understand, the way that the sequencing of this works is that there's 5 text messages total scheduled to go over 4 days, 2 in the first day, and then 1 a day thereafter. However, as soon as the lead responds, the automation's paused automatically. You guys then get notified of their response. They're not going to get another automatic text from Julie. They'll continue getting emails, of course, unless you guys shut that off, which we can show you. But the idea is they get that first text message, which gets the most responses. They get that at exactly 3 minutes after they submitted their information. And then, yeah, as soon as they respond, they will not get any more automatic texts. You guys can then come in, and it's really important that you either respond to them directly from your own device, but reference Julie. Say, you know, hey, my assistant Julie's passed your information over to me and I wanted to, you know, blah, blah, blah. Or you get into the system and, you know, hand it over as Julie once again, if that makes sense. The reason being is because if we've ever shopped retail, and let's say you went in and somebody was helpful, you weren't ready to pull the trigger yet, went back the next day, the next week, whatever it is, naturally, we're always looking for that person that helped us, right? Regardless of whether there's a commission situation or anything like that. I mean, especially if there's commission involved as salespeople, we're going to deal with that person. But regardless, if somebody was helpful, we want them to be able to continue helping us. So that handoff is important.
100%. And so if you go to the light bulb, click on automations, you can see that there's this little place right here. You're going to have a separate one for the buyer. But if you edit it and go down, you can see you can send the communications between certain hours if you want to change that. You can turn off specific sequences, right, of your emails, and day 3, the first one that goes out, day 10. And let me tell you, this is just a template. In my mind, once you start learning the system itself, and I wanted to go in day 10, and I don't want them to get this email, I may just say, are we Facebook friends yet up here? And I might do a quick video from BombBomb. And I mean, I'm a big fan of video communication because it's obvious. Like, body language and tonality is 96% of communication. It's your personality. You're winning friends and influencing people here. You're not setting generic texts that are gonna, get you a listing appointment. I'm sorry, that's just not the way it works. Good luck if you think that's the key. When you do to something like BombBomb, guys, like, I use Google Chrome and I use the BombBomb Chrome extension because of how simple and easy it is. So if you can see on my screen here, there's the BombBomb extension. And then when I click on all videos, right, and you see all these videos I've created, well, if you look at it, I've got a ton of videos because I do a lot of this stuff, but it's really simple. When you go in here and click on copy HTML, all you got to do is go back into your email and find where you want to edit it and drop it right in here. So let me show you how simple it is. If I go to Command V or, copy paste, bam. So imagine you got to think. You can structure it any way you want. If you know what you want your immediate email to say, then you can change up what your day 3 looks like. It depends on what your process is going to be. And your day 10, your day 17, it should always be pointing back to connecting. You can say, are we Facebook friends? You can invite them into a group where they can get ongoing market updates. You can do so much with the idea of video because you control the process. But when you are relying on text to do it, it's going to get lost in translation, and they're never going to see you as anybody but a machine trying to get their information.
Yeah, I mean, if you just become a CMA machine, so to speak, what you're doing is relying on a picture of yourself and your name on a piece of paper that's, on a magnet on their fridge for a week until somebody comes and puts it in the junk drawer where it sits for a month and then it gets thrown out. It's not overly relevant. And what we're trying to show you here is the ability to put yourself, your voice, your face, your personality, an actual moving image of you, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, consider that. This is a video. This is every, once a week, once a month, whatever it is, you can schedule the reminder that you're a real person and you're actually here to help them, right? It's very, very important. We're going to show you another way to connect to these people on Facebook and stay top of mind there as well. But it's like you just put little billboards all over their neighborhood. It's just reminders of you all over the place in a dynamic fashion. It will absolutely increase your conversion.
Yeah, I mean, BombBomb is something everybody should try. If you've never tried it before, there's a free trial. It's really affordable. You can do their month-to-month, I think, thing for about $40. Like, so, don't cut corners when it comes to authentically connecting with leads. Like, and I can't express that enough. Like, there's no script that's going to get you a listing appointment without you being there in front of them. It's like this. Like, the way I like to consider, I'm gonna unshare my screen for 1 second. The way I like to help people understand this is, if you are digitally door knocking in the Facebook world, which is really what you're doing, you're like, hey, anybody ready looking to sell out there? What happens when they open that door, which is when someone clicks on it, and they actually tell you by putting in their information, are you showing up at their home and doorbell ditching and leaving a letter on the ground and hoping that they actually read it? They're going to toss it into the garbage most of the time. Okay. Or when they open that door, are you there communicating, hey, I'm Marcus from Kelowna. Just wanted to introduce myself, let you know I'll be working on your home value. In the meantime, I just have a few quick questions, right? What's going to be received?
And identify your process, right? I mean, if your process is what we're going to show you with the whole Facebook thing, you tell them that. Instead of leaving any kind of chance or misconception of, hey, is a CMA coming my way? Am I expecting something in the mail, by this method, by that method? Am I expecting something tomorrow or the next day? This is what's happening because they told me what's happening. So we'll show you a video next. Maybe show them the Marley video real quick. Yeah. This is kind of the example that we would recommend you guys following because it's short and sweet. You can tell she's a real person. I like her personality. Some people may not, I guess. I don't know. She seems approachable.
I mean, I don't know how you cannot.
Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. She's wonderful. But the idea is she's set her process. And for her, she's going to find people on Facebook. So now it's not like, oh, who am I getting this friend request from? It's like, oh, yeah, Marley. She told me this was going to happen. Once again, I think that's important.
I'm Marley with Elevate Real Estate. I got your request for the home price valuation, and I am on it. Oh, and by the way, I left a link to my Facebook profile page below. I'll just be sending you a really quick friend request. Want to make sure you get a chance to meet me. We'll talk soon. Bye.
So that's after they click on the video, they'll see something like that. What they're going to see in their email inbox is something like this. Okay. So the key for you to go in there and throw in a little emojis, we use Emojipedia. It's a really cool site to do this. Like if you go to Emojipedia right here, you can pull in and change your subject lines like that and pull in a little Emojipedia. I'll put that into the chat feature for you guys. Let me just get the chat feature. Where to go? Well, you can find it, Logan. You give it to them over there. And also, when you look at this, what else is he doing? Well, we'll give you some few examples. You guys are going to get access to this course today. But you'll see he's changing the script a little bit. And if you scroll down a little bit more, he's got a link to set up a consultation. This is the buyer example, but it's no different on the seller side. And he's got to get to know me on Facebook and Instagram, and he's put in the email signature. So that is the key to your success, I think, is going in there and customizing your automations early on. Because if you're going to be generating leads of any sort, you shouldn't be measuring just your cost per lead. It's your cost per response, right? And if you're getting responses, now we're winning. And we can win lots of great opportunities to set up appointments and walkthroughs, right? You know, we got something called the script that got Jessica 5 listing appointments in 1 week. This is like an example of a follow-up. You let the automations do what Marley did initially, and then you have a personal email that you're sending out to these people where you're talking about their home's value, giving them a quick guess onto what it could be worth. But then you kind of put it in the video in there and you let them know if Wednesday at 6 or Thursday at 9 a.m. works for them. See what she's doing there? So we're going to give you some really good examples. We have incredible scripts like Zillow thinks your home's worth this, Realtor estimates it's closer to this, Trulia, which is owned by Zillow, thinks it's worth this. Like, as you can see, the internet has no idea what your home is really worth. Like, sight unseen, right? It's best to leave the home evaluation process to a professional. Now, when you combine that with a video, now you're talking, right? And you're getting them to say, oh, babe, you know, if they're talking to their hubby, we need to figure out what our home's really worth if we want to put it on the market. So that's where you kind of, you don't give away all your leverage. And there's really effective ways out there to do it. We had a person, let's see if I can find it in our insider group. And I marked it as an announcement the other day because she found a way using, let's see, I'm going to put this in this announcement here. This right here is, she was using, I think it was called, see if we know it,
Remine.
Anybody know what Remine is out there? Remine. It's so easy. It was taking her about 45 seconds to a minute to adjust their value, and it would pull in Zillow and Redfin and Black Knight and First American and give them all these different values. But it gave them this average estimate. And it's so good when you do something like that, because here's the beauty. When you have something like BombBomb and you use it in this capacity, you can use the screen recording feature. And you could be talking them through separate tabs. So let's say you had 3 or 4 tabs. You'd be like, hey, are we Facebook friends yet? Just want to make sure you connect and you got my Facebook. Here's my Facebook profile. Look for me here. Look for my friend request. Check your message request folder. Oh, and regarding your home value, let's talk about your home value. This is how we arrived to these 3 price points, right? But you're walking them through these tabs you have open. Oh, and I got some great ideas for you if you were ever considering to get your home market ready. Here's a few things you might consider.
One of the most important things you guys are going to do is identify a quick process to get good information and data to your clients in one way or another. In my opinion, an actual CMA is reserved for after you've been belly to belly with them, essentially, right? After you've seen the property. Because for me, if I spend, 10, 15, 20 minutes pulling comps and doing the math and actually figuring out what I really feel this home is worth, and if I'm doing my due diligence and doing it properly, it's going to take me minimum 10 minutes to do a good one, right? Usually a little bit longer. Now they're getting something that has taken me a lot of time, but is it accurate? No. Is it valuable to them? Not really, right? Because it's based on past sales and a lot of other things that are relevant, but not as relevant as after I've seen that property and I've seen properties around it, then I can actually do a CMA. So for me, I want to get them some form of information really quickly, whether it be a price range or something like this. I love the Zulia approach. Like I said, you let Zillow and Trulia and you let the internet be wrong. I don't like to be wrong. I don't like to say, hey, I think your home might sell around $625,000, show up only to find that it's been trashed by, college rental student, whatever. It's not worth that much money right now. But I told you it would be. Or the other way, you undervalue it and they think, okay, well, I just put $115,000 worth of renos into this place. These guys don't know what they're talking about, right? So for me, I like to say, based on what I can see, here's the internet's best guess as to what your home might sell for. However, the only way to get you a true value is for me to see the property for myself. And not only will I then be able to tell you what I think your home would sell for on the market if it went live today, I'll also be able to help you get your home market ready for when you decide you're ready to sell.
Yeah,
right?
but don't do that in a text format.
Of course not.
Right, don't write that all down in one email. Trust me, when you do it, you're gonna actually talk a little bit about it, because remember, when someone receives a video on their email, they might not have the opportunity to click on it, but at least they know it's there, so they can reference back to it. They may be out and about, like in a place where they can't click on it, they can't listen to anything at the time, but they know there's a real person behind it, and they will come back to it. And when you leverage something like BombBomb, the beauty behind that, guys, is I can see here in my tracking when someone has opened it, when someone has played my video, and if there's any links that I added into it when they've clicked on it, which, by the way, leads me into Calendly. Right? If you guys know about Calendly, it's a booking into your calendar. And the way this looks right here is you can set it up any way you want. And I have phenomenal people using Calendly in this structure because you're giving them multiple opportunities to meet with you, and you're giving them options. It might be, hey, just quickly help me understand this home value, 5-minute call book, or a complimentary walkthrough of your home with da-da-da. Or, hey, I have just you guys name it, like, let's do a coffee date, schedule a coffee date with me. Right? Like, think outside the box. The power is in integrating video and technology like this. And I think personally connecting back on Facebook, because a big part of that is if you can connect back on Facebook, we're going to show you towards the end of this, after we show you how to hit your ads up, how to find out how to take these people that you've connected with on Facebook, even if they only have an address, nothing else. You had to pull up tax records to find them. Add them into that list and become somebody who's connecting with them on the daily in that hour. Remember that hour time spent every single day scrolling down the news feed. So you want to make sure you're the influencer of that news feed, not somebody else. Because somebody else along the lines is going to pick up on Facebook and what the power is they're allowing you to do right now, and take over and become the influencer of your market. So if you're not looking into that now, I would consider the very minimum, think of every client you've ever done business with, obviously your referrals, your repeat and referral business, your future clients, and so forth, and put them into that list. Make sure every transaction you've ever done with anybody that your number one are Facebook friends, and that you put them into a list. And now you're going to revisit that list every single day and make sure you're intentional about staying top of mind with that, because that's where all your repeat and referral business is coming from, right? Then we'll talk about other lists as well. Okay, let's get into building some awesome ads for you. You guys all got that course, because I just put it in the chat feature. So ST conversion code at the checkout. When you sign up for that course, we'll give you that course for free, or else you're paying $200 for it, which you don't want to do. Okay. BombBomb 14-day free trial is there as well. And then lastly, make sure you're booking with your coach. It's going to be Logan, Troy, or I, because there's no way we can really give you a full-on experience of how to make this work in this short amount of time. We're trying our best, but I think if you meet with us, yeah, go ahead, Jen.
What's the best way to reach out to you guys and book some time?
I'm your coach here, Jen. So I'll actually send you my calendar link and everything like that. You should have actually got that already. So that's on me. I apologize. Obviously my automations must not have hit you properly yet. You should have actually got an email right away from me automatically. We do use the similar automations. So check for that, but I'll personally send you a friend request and a Facebook message as well.
He's a little bit of a slow learner. I've been trying to teach him.
You must just be a bad teacher, Marcus.
I give you all my secrets.
I've given you all mine. It's been 5 years. You're welcome.
All right, everything we do here, guys, is like we try to practice what we preach, okay? And so when I'm telling you about BombBomb and I'm telling you about, connecting with us on Facebook, the reason why we do that early on is, like, if you look at the way our automations fire off, you probably started the trial, and they got an automatic text from Julie, right? Or you got an email. Same type of thing that we're trying to teach you. It's the same thing. When you utilize the AI, when you utilize these email autoresponders, they can feel really authentic and genuine, and you can set yourself up for success, and you can learn how to scale yourself. Because you want to create systems when you're going to bed at night and leads are coming in that allow you to be there, right? And genuinely feel like you're connecting to that person individually. And you can't do that with generic text responders. Logan, your typing is done. Stop, right?
I'm a multitasker, buddy.
Okay, so let's get into building some awesome ads. So we'll start with you here, Jen, and we'll show you what you should be looking for. Do you like to go by Jen or Jennifer? I guess you
Jen.
Jen. Okay,
Yeah.
Jen it is. I know I like to go by Marcus, not Mark. So that's the way I roll. Okay. So when you go into your ads, everybody, this is what you're looking at, right? Your CPC, your CPM, your clicks and stuff. This is how you're measuring the success of your ad. And we're going to have a view recommendations tab, but just like what I look for is trying to get the CPC under about $2 would be ideal. Give or take, if you're in $1 million market, we might give it a little bit more flexibility. Don't worry about the CPM. What you're going to be looking for is obviously lots of clicks. Spending is how much you spend on Facebook. Leads is going to be basically telling you these are your addresses, and emails are going to be telling you, hey, how many emails have you gotten? So what I want you guys to kind of look for as we build new ads is you're going to have a bunch of templates that you're going to unlock in the future if you move beyond trial, but right now you have 2. Now, we're going to give you one of the highest performing seller funnels that we have. We're going to show you how to use this one. This right here is basically your standard. You're looking for, if I were to give you average North American wide, Canada, US stats right now, there's over 5 million active ads out there with this funnel. They're producing on average a $6 email, an $18 phone number, and a $2 address. So if you're like way outside of those numbers, then you need to turn it off. If you're beating those numbers, then you've got yourself a good performance. And if you're just sitting in par with those, you need to start testing. Like I see it all the time. The more testing you do, you could drop that and cut it in half. You can actually drop that down as low as $1 an email. It's massive. I've seen markets where you're getting $2 phone numbers, but you can't assume that the first ad you're running in your trial is going to produce that. Okay. So big part of this right now is how do we find those aces in the deck of cards, right? We go out there and test. We play more cards. We play more hands. Okay. Think of it in like your poker, your blackjack. You don't just hit blackjack every time. So when you click select on this particular ad, you're just going out here and building. Now, Jen, what's your farming market?
You can consider it Danville, California. So 94526, 94506.
Cool. I'm from Los Gatos, California.
Ooh, nice.
So Danville, and then you type in, just like this, you type in the area that you're targeting on top. Make sure proper grammar, don't yell Danville to the entire world with big capitals, just Danville, capital D. And then when you search for Danville, you search for it like this, and you just populate, because make sure don't choose the wrong area. There's lots of Danvilles out there. And then you look, when you first hit this up, it looks something like this. Now, I would never allow this ad to go out like this unless I was up here typing in the county of Danville. What's the county that you work in?
Contra Costa.
Contra Costa.
Okay, Contra Costa County. So you might type in Contra Costa County if you're going to work an ad where you're doing a big portion of the county. And by the way, when you're doing this type of stuff, it is so cool to try to test out South Bay, Silicon Valley. When you can group in an entire big audience in hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people, and let Facebook determine where the algorithm is. So we'll talk about that shortly. But in Danville, for example, I just want to let you know there's lots of ways to split test Danville. If I were going to focus in Danville, Jen, I would number one, I would zoom in. I would pick the map part of it first, and I would zoom into Danville like this.
Yep.
and I would move it around and be like, okay, the closer I get into this place, the more recognizable the landmarks and features and the highway and the Danville Library and San Ramon Valley High School, Trader Joe's, you see what we're doing here?
Yep.
This is, that's the experience you want to give these leads. And you can see it's a different experience when you go, I think satellite's really good when you start going really close to places and recognizable features. You can see it like this. And then I like, there's one other feature that you can test out. And it's called the terrain feature. And the terrain's cool when you look at the surrounding mountains and areas in that area, right? You can see like Danville's almost sitting in like a little bit of a valley.
Mm-hmm.
So this is, just know it. There's so many ways you can test out. I would test them out all. And so if I looked at, for example, hitting Danville up this way, I might click next. If I like this feature, every test I take, if I'm doing a map image versus a terrain versus a satellite, is a separate ad. Okay.
Well, and keep in mind, the reason why we do this, guys, is that we want this to be instantly recognizable. Whether it be we're zoomed right close and you can see landmarks, like the where the mall is, the high school, whatever it is, something that's instantly recognizable. If you're noticing that you're in too far and it just looks like any other place, the map won't work as well. Because what we're trying to do is stop the scroll. As people are scrolling through Facebook, the reason why we're not using the image of a home or something like that is because people are tuned to kind of the safety and security aspect of things where they need to be aware of their surroundings. So if there's an image that is so reflective of their personal area, all of a sudden it's like, oh, what's happening here? I better investigate. That's kind of what our brains are telling us. So then they stop their scroll, they'll read the ad copy, and if people don't want their home value, they'll continue their scroll, not a problem. But those that want their home value or might be selling their home or whatever it may be, they're the ones who are going to click on it. But if it looks like an ad, they'll never look at that ad copy. They'll just scroll right past. So make sure it's instantly recognizable, and then you'll get them to read your ad copy.
So, I just launched that ad for you, and you obviously don't have to use it. You can turn it off, Jen, but I just want to show you how fast and easy it is. And so for me, if I'm Danville, and I'm doing a bunch of Danville campaigns because I just really want to explore Danville, I'm going to go back into Danville. I'm going to go back into Danville again. I'm going to use this time maybe the satellite feature of Danville, and I'm going to zoom into Danville like this. I'm going to go Danville closer, and start saying, hey, don't assume 1 second that this ad won't hit well. And really, right, like this is the way I'm like, okay, I might do it this time around as a map instead of the terrain, focusing a little bit closer on the area. Click next, Danville, California, next, deploy. And so there's two variations of Danville. One is with the terrain a little bit wider, one's with the map a little bit closer. And I'm gonna let them compete against each other overnight, both at $9 a day. Tomorrow when you wake up, you haven't spent $9, you probably spent maybe $4 on each, right? But what you're gonna be looking for, Jen, is those numbers, right? So when you wake up tomorrow morning and you revisit this ad section, you're gonna be seeing a CPC emerge, how much you spent on that ad, and how many leads and emails have come in. And you kind of like look in the next 24 to 40 hours and let the best man win and turn off the other one.
And how long are those ads running for?
Well, indefinitely, meaning we've seen ads run for a year if the performance behind it, because when you go to view your ad,
yep,
and when all of a sudden you start seeing people comment, it's social proof. You're going to want to respond to those comments. Always respond to those comments. I would view your ad every day. Look to see who's liking it. Look to see who's commenting on it. Respond with questions, because questions obviously get more answers. And like even like, hey, how long have you lived there? Or, have you done any updates? Do that in the comment section of your ad, and Facebook will bring more algorithm there. It'll drive the cost per lead down.
Okay.
So leave it on as long as it's producing, because you're going to have a lifetime budget and you're going to have the last 7 days. And if those are both staying in par with each other, you have a good ad, right? And your odometer section is going to tell you how it's performing.
And ultimately, the idea isn't to get you to run 2 ads, 10 ads, 20 ads, whatever, for a long period of time, because obviously that's not feasible. Cost-wise, that would get out of hand really quick. But the idea is we want you to pull as many cards from the deck, essentially, as you can early on. You need more than 24 hours to trust the metrics. 24 hours, what Facebook has told us, that as soon as an ad is run for 24 hours, the numbers that it's produced are accurate and can be trusted. But also, you don't need more than 48 hours to know the direction it's heading. Now, consider this. Every single time you launch a new ad on Facebook, it's going through the auction. And what happens is it gets targeted to 500 people, essentially at random, within the area you've told them to target. So if we're doing Danville, they're taking 500 fairly random people, showing your ad to, and as soon as it's shown those 500, then they've set an internal score. So if the majority of those people within that test group don't resonate with your ad and don't, click on it, don't take action, well, Facebook then says, okay, I'm going to score this low, meaning it's going to be more CPC. It's going to be a higher cost per click. I'm not going to show it to as many people every day because people aren't liking this ad. And while I'm being paid to show this ad, I'm not really going to show it that well, if that makes any sense. Whereas if the majority of the test group enjoy the ad and resonate with it and click on it, then Facebook says, okay, this is a good ad. So that's when you can see, if you've ever launched ads and they start in different directions and you're not sure why, well, that's why. So if you then build 3 ads, 4 ads, 6 ads that are all looking fairly similar, you're testing a new 500 for each and every one of those. After 24 hours, you can trust the metrics. Then you look at your 6 ads and say, okay, of this, 3 of them are awful. I'm just gonna turn those right off. 2 of them are okay and 1 is great. Well, you can make a decision then. Are you ready to turn all off and keep that 1 going? That's probably your best bet. So build multiple ads, spend a little bit more money up front. Ultimately, you'll save yourself a ton of money in the long run. Because a lot of people will come in and build 1 ad, and if it doesn't work after 7 days, they pause it and build another one, pause it and build another one. You're not testing everything at the same time. You're not doing a true split test. You're spending the same amount, if not more money long term, right? So spend more up front to get a better opportunity to find a winner immediately.
I'm just building an example. I'm not going to launch this one. I just want to show you, like, if you did a Contra Costa County ad like this, you'd zoom into the areas that you'd want to work within the county. You don't have to do the entire county there, Jen, but you would zoom in and say, oh, you know what? I want kind of the Walnut Creek area to be the central area of the county, and I want to kind of explore some of these surrounding areas as well. When I click next, I'm going to type in all the areas that I want to target within the county, not the whole county, but the areas that I want to target, and list them off one town at a time. Make sense? Yeah. And then you click next, and then you deploy. And that's the kind of way you set up the macro model of your farming area. I might do, if I were in Los Gatos, I might do, if someone were to buy your Silicon Valley home, and type in all the areas in Silicon Valley, or I might type in, if someone were to buy your South Bay home, right? And so you allow Facebook, like, it's kind of really up to you with where you're willing to drive. If the wider you expand that audience, the more opportunities you'll see the Facebook algorithm available to work. But choose your target areas as well. Facebook is removing zip codes in the future. You can still target zip codes if you want and try it, because we still have that opportunity at the moment. We have a relationship with them, but in the future, you won't be able to do that anymore. So it's good to get used to actually going in there and typing in Danville on those target areas. And then also you can drop pins. So I know we got about 5 minutes left. I just want to quickly show you how to set up a buyer campaign if you were to do it. The buyer campaign, there's a little bit more variables of getting this wrong. So trust me, follow me on this one if you want to try out the buyer to seller funnel. Like, Jen, if we were typing in Danville, what in Danville is like a starting point to get in the market?
Starting point's $1 million.
Okay, so let's use $9.99, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sounds better. Feels more like affordable.
It's a deal.
Yeah, I'm gonna get under $1 million. Okay, what in Danville is hot right now? Is it a school district? Is it
West Side Danville?
West Side.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we typed in West Side Danville, right? And is there like specific amenities that people are looking for in Danville?
Walkability to downtown.
So be the first to receive a
close to downtown
list of homes in Westville, Danville, close to downtown.
Yep.
Right. For example, under $9.99. Right. So, or you can say it in walking distance to downtown. The key is, feel free to go in here and say with pools or in the blank school district or with rental suites and that type of thing. Now, when you pick an image, you can upload your own file or you can pick from stock. We can teach you how to upload your own file with images that make it look like this. We find the 3 images pulls really well. So what I recommend is find an architectural style that is, that resonates with that audience. Don't embellish the ad that it's like there's no way they can get that type of home or that style of home in Danville. You know, like don't use that type of image. Use an image that actually your market would say, hey, that's the type of home that is available out there.
You'll find the haters otherwise. If you put an image out there that's way out of line, you're going to find trolls right quick. So,
and then when you pick a page for the landing page is what happens when they click inside of the ad. I would choose something that's interior of nature so they feel like they're walking into the home. And then lastly, when you target the buyers, you're not targeting just Danville, right? My thought process is I would target Danville with a drop the pin feature, and I would maybe use a 50-mile radius. And when I do that, I'm kind of looking at like this whole scope of people in and around Danville, knowing that they may be moving outside of the area into Danville. And that's how I would target with this little like drop the pin radius, click next and deploy.
Yeah, sellers, you want to keep really close to the area that you've referenced in the ad. Of course, you don't want to target outside of that area because you're speaking to sellers, right? It's this is the area you live. With buyers, you're trying to find anybody who lives even remotely close who wants to move into the area.
Real quickly, guys, when you go to your contacts and you look at them this way, definitely track who you are talking to. Any dialogue is good dialogue because we're going to take that information as pixels back to Facebook and find you more leads like them, okay? So make sure you're using this feature of the deal progress and also make sure you're taking notes on your follow-up. When you look into the lead, one more thing. If you don't want them to getting any of the automations, like you've talked to them already and you just want it to stop altogether, you just drop down here and turn it off. And that's how you remove them from the automations, okay?
And two things on this screen. You can now see the funnel ID and the ad ID that the leads have come through from. So if you have multiple ads all targeting Danville, you can now see which funnel it was that actually brought in that lead. So you can put build that into your decision-making process as to which ad you're going to keep. And then also on that same screen, what Marcus kind of touched on there, it is so incredibly important. You've lost a lot of the ability to proactively tell Facebook exactly who you're looking for. You can't tell Facebook, I'm looking for this kind of individual who makes this much money, who drives a red Lamborghini. You just can't do that anymore. But what you can do is retroactively tell them, of the group of individuals you've already found me, which ones do I prefer? So you found people who've clicked on my ad. Great. Now they're already being added into the priority list. In other words, lookalike audience because they've taken action and clicked on an ad. That's great. But then each step along the way, talk to, book the appointment, closed a deal, all those things, prioritize that particular individual even further, right? Which is super important.
Hey, Troy, do you have anything to say today?
No, so that's the end of this webinar.
I don't know if you had something you wanted to graciously share.
Get in there, Troy.
Before you guys book with your coach, just so you know, when you click on the dashboard and scroll down to the very bottom, this page will automatically be prompting you when the trial expires. But if you want to take advantage of any of the system or the price points that we have today, it's 3 ways to work with us. You have a full year, a 6-month, and a 3-month. The biggest value is definitely built in the year, of course. It's basically $160 a month average, but it's paid up front and then renews monthly at the end. And then we have a 6-month and a 3-month option as well. The key is, one thing we didn't touch on too much today is we have a course that we built with Donna Swansea. She's done 150 deals with us. So Donna is a phenomenal person to model your process from. She was a teacher before she got into real estate. And if you're looking to figure out how she did the 150 deals in the last 2.5 years with just StreetText and Facebook leads, most of them, I would probably say 99% of them are sellers. She gets buyers from them, but at this point, she's probably done at least close to a dozen transactions with people that were a seller that became a buyer and then are a seller a couple years later again. So as you can see, Facebook is for the long time, the long run. It's not a quick fix to your business. You should be basing the next 90 days on how many appointments you can schedule for walkthroughs. And your 6-month to year model is where you start looking at double-digit transactions. Okay, and then you scale your budget up once you've defined your process. Don't go in there and spend a bunch of Facebook dollars generating a bunch of leads that you can't get a hold of. Okay, so you want to work with us on that for sure.
The one thing we didn't show was how to build and find people on Facebook and how to build those lists. So we can do this one of two ways. If you guys want to stick around, we can do another 5 minutes and show that, or you guys can book individually with your success coach. We can take you guys through personally. Who would like us to quickly show the whole Facebook side of things?
Yeah, you just want to see the list?
Might as well see it. Let's just build it really quick. So the general idea here is, I mean, even consider yourself having an address only. What you can do is pull up public tax records, right? It's all you need. If you get their first name, last name, and where they live, that's all you need to find somebody on Facebook. So we'll find Jen. There you go. So we know Jen Collins now. Jen, where do you live? Where does Facebook think you live? If you were to put in your address and just say, I live in such and such city, where does Facebook think?
It should still have me in Danville.
Danville, perfect. So you type in that name, you then hit people. It gives you the ability to filter by results. So then you filter by city, you hit choose a city, and then we would type in Danville. Then even if you have like a John Smith, you're able to filter every single person. Now we've only found Jennifer Collins, who lives in Danville. We're pretty confident this is you, right? So then we click add as a friend. That friend request is now sent. As soon as that's done, I could send you a video that says, exactly what's going on.
Right, no, stop there.
Okay, you go ahead.
When you send a friend request, you literally allow your mouse to do this from your desktop, by the way. Allow your mouse to stay on that friend request, and then you'll have Facebook automatically give you 5 options: where you work, where you live, and also family stuff. The key now is understanding you're going to build new options. You're going to create a Danville Facebook seller list, and trust me, that's just one. You're going to have lots of more lists that you build, and you're going to drop them into that list. And so let me just pretend I'm going to put you in, obviously, into to Logan. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to send that message. And I'm going to send that message probably from my phone, because I have a little bit, like I can send voicemail, I can send, but I can also do it from my computer. It depends if you have a desktop video. And then you can see the video pulls up, and I'm going to be like, hey, Jen, Marcus here, to address the home value portion. And then when I'm going to send it, you're going to get that video from me, Jen. You can see it's just going to populate right there in your messenger, and you're going to allude to what you've already put in your automations and your questions and so forth. And then you're going to go back into your home page, and you're going to go to friends lists. And this is the power, guys, because I'll just give you a quick list example. Imagine what you're doing when you drop them into that list that you've created. You're going to have them all into this list, and now you can create content specifically for that list. You can go into Danville and a real cool landmark out there and talk about the market, talk about neighborhoods, talk about what's happening, farmers markets, you name it. It just now is your ability to put all these leads into one list and start creating influences over them.
Yeah, and you're only targeting that list then, right? So let's say, for instance, you were also a expert in where else close? You got San Ramon and Walnut Creek, let's just say. Now, what's the fastest way for you to lose the illusion of you being the Danville expert? Well, if you're also the Walnut Creek expert. So if you're going through and putting out videos that are targeting everybody, your Walnut Creek clients are saying, hey, I'm the expert here in Danville. And they say, well, you're not the Walnut Creek expert anymore. Right? So if you build these lists as they come through, and you have all the people from Walnut Creek into a Walnut Creek list, all the people in Danville, all the people in San Ramon in their own separate list, you can once a month, like Marcus is saying, shoot a quick video. Hey guys, this is what's happening in the Walnut Creek area. Over the last 30 days, there's been X amount of properties listed, sold, days on market, community events. There's a new aquatic center coming in. Don't forget about this thing that's going on. I have an open house in this area. Whatever you want to highlight, done. 30-second video, cool local landmark. That's it. Go to Walnut Creek, do one there. Go to San Ramon, do one there. When you then post those videos, you're doing it only to that group of individuals. So only the Danville people get the Danville market update. So consider somebody is 8 months away from being ready to sell their home. You've hit them with the 8 to 12 touches. You've done everything that you can. You basically forgot about them because after 2 to 3 months of follow-up, you didn't hear back from them. Okay, they weren't interested, not a problem. They are interested, just not then. They weren't ready for you. You have to be ready for them. And if you're constantly chasing them around, oftentimes, obviously, as we know, you can make a lukewarm or a cold lead way colder by being a little bit too aggressive. So instead of continuously calling, texting, emailing, all those things, if they're just seeing a video that's very relevant to them and highlighting you as the expert, 6 months has gone by, they've seen 6 of those videos. Now they're not 8 months away from being ready to sell, they're 2. Now they're ready for you. And all you've been doing is providing valuable information along the way. They're much more likely to reach out to you now that they're closer to being ready.
And I think the power also is just, you're not going to drop them into one list. You're going to have multiple lists that you're going to create that come out of that list. As soon as you start pre-qualifying these people and start seeing where they're at in that cycle, you're going to create a list and call it just curious. You're going to have a list that call it, hey, send home value to, check in. And you're going to have a list that says 3 months out. So you know where they are in their time frame, and you're going to revisit those lists accordingly and move them around. Because if you see here, I put you into Logan's clients, but I can put you into multiple lists. So it's not just one list that I can put you in. I can drop you into multiple lists and then move you around accordingly depending on where you are in that pipeline. So it's a phenomenal thing to do. And not to mention, if you start doing this now and you look at that Marley example that I shared with you with the video where she talks about connecting on Facebook, then everything you built with your day 3, your day 10, your day 17, and so forth always points back to connecting with them on Facebook and to groups that you're creating and to influence that you want them to see. So yeah, it's really as powerful as your ability to come in here and start thinking about the bigger picture. And don't be locked in and don't just think about the script aspects of this. There's a lot of this hands-on. We have weekly masterminds where you can come and join our community. We have a StreetText Insider group. We have lots of resources, lots of coaching, and lots of training. Just a matter of if you see, like, you love this type of environment with the community, like this right here, you got about 12 people here. You come to my weekly mastermind, we have anywhere from 30 to 50 people at any given time, but they're all converting leads. These are all people past trial, having a good time, talking about what they're doing to get those appointments. Okay, Donna included. So it's phenomenal. Get it there. A lot of people join us just for our mastermind and say they would pay for the StreetText fee just to get into the weekly mastermind. That's how powerful they are.
Yeah, generating leads is the easy part. It's the conversion that takes time to set up because there's not one process. You know, generating leads, we've identified a process that seems to work pretty much everywhere, right? If you do the right targeting, you follow up with the metrics, we're able to keep our targeting and our ads working phenomenally well. But following up with them, I mean, obviously that's a variable. It's dependent on you, your personality, what you're looking to do. If you don't see yourself doing a CMA for every person, or you don't see yourself, you know, being comfortable on video, all these things, you need to test and try things and kind of move out of your comfort zone a little bit. But ultimately, if it's too uncomfortable, you're not going to continue to do it. So identify your process, stick to it, be consistent. Consistency pays off.
Yeah, so guys, I know we went a little bit past because we thought it was a really cool concept to share with you, but just meet with us after this. We'll give you our calendar. We're pretty flexible today. Friday's usually a little bit slower. So we'll be able to reach out to you. And of course, if you have any questions about anything, we'll be in touch with you. So have an awesome day. Thanks for coming, and we'll talk soon.
See you guys.